Well, hello and welcome to another episode of The Mark Medley Show. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. But this is another episode of The Mark Medley Show, and this is your host, Mark Medley. And as I share with you all the time, whenever I kind of do a double down, that's whenever I not only share what I'm sharing in podcast form, but I share it in blog form as well. So this particular episode is also on Medium, because I write for Medium. I write for my own blog, which is The Critical Thinker. I write for LinkedIn. And I also have this podcast, The Mark Medley Show. And so what I wrote on Medium was dealing with this photo that was taken during the confirmation hearings. And the title of it, and I'm going to title this on the podcast the same thing that it was titled in the blog post in Medium. And that is one picture that truly is worth 10,000 words. And that title came from that Chinese proverb that says a picture is worth 10,000 words. Many of us here in the United States, we always say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, in the Chinese proverb, it's a picture is worth 10,000 words. And if there ever was a photo or a picture that was worth 10,000 words, it was the one that was taken by Sarabeth Maney, or Maney, however she says it, Sarabeth Maney or Sarabeth Maney. She's a photographer for the New York Times. And she captured an iconic moment at the hearings. And it was a photo of Judge Ketanji Onyeka Brown Jackson, of her daughter, as she was sitting there at the hearings listening to her mother. And the expression on Judge Brown Jackson's daughter's face said it all. It was 10,000 words plus. It's one of these situations where one never knows when anything that's said or done will indeed go viral. And that was the case with this photo, because neither Judge Brown Jackson's daughter nor Sarabeth Maney could have imagined that the photo would have the impact that it's had. And again, Sarabeth Maney, Miss Maney, she's a photographer with the New York Times. She was covering the confirmation hearings, and happened as photographers to do, as creative and artistic photographers do. They know how to capture the moment. And she caught this young girl. She caught the judge's daughter's face at the precise moment that no more words, in all honesty, need to be said. The combination of her snapping that photograph and the expression on the daughter's face says it all. Not one word needs to be uttered. Just look at that young girl's face as her mother is sitting there trying to reach the Supreme Court. According to Wikipedia, the phrase, "a picture is worth 1,000 words," is an adage in multiple language, meaning that complex and sometimes multiple ideas can be conveyed by a single still image, which conveys its meaning or essence more effectively than a mere verbal description. I believe the Chinese proverb of, quote, "one picture is worth 10,000 words," unquote, more aptly fits Miss Maney's capturing of that special moment. The look on that daughter's face, it says, "Oh, you go, queen." That look says, "You go, girl." That look says, "That's my mama." That look says, "If it can happen for my mother, it can happen for me and other girls who look like me." That look says, "My mother is kicking in the door for other young girls like me to walk through." The look on that daughter's face says, "I'm so proud of you." The look on her face says, "I wouldn't want my mom to be anything other than what she is." That look says, "You tell her, Mom." That look also says, I love you, Mom. That look says, God bless you, Mom. That look says she's a bad mama jamma, just as fine as she can be. And oh, so many words that can be placed upon the daughter's face that was coming through her expression. Just one look. That's all it took. She caught that one look. The pressing of that shutter button, giving us one iconic look, is really, to be honest with you, all the words that needs to be said. They're going through all these confirmation and bickering and backering, and should she be confirmed? Should she not be confirmed? But the truth of the matter is, just looking at that photo is enough to say she's in. Because that photo on that daughter, the photo of the expression on the face of the daughter, symbolized every young girl who falls into the category of people of color. And to be honest with you, it could be Caucasian girls as well. It could be women in general. It could be girls in general. It just in this particular instance, and that's why a lot of this bickering is going on, is because not only is this a woman, this is an African American woman. So the fact that her daughter can sit there and witness history, can sit there and see her mother being nominated and sitting in a confirmation hearing to sit on the highest court in the land, and she had the expression on her face that was saying everything I said and then some. It was such a look of admiration, such a look of pride, such a look of self-esteem, such a look of confidence that, yes, this African American woman who is my mother is sitting here being considered for the highest court in the land. And is Judge Brown Jackson qualified? Oh, yes, she is. Probably more qualified than those who are already sitting there. Certainly, if the two that just made it in, the two that was nominated prior to her under the previous administration, if they were able to be confirmed, surely Judge Brown Jackson ought to be able to be confirmed. But see, we know what's coming into play here, because it's not just about her qualifications. It's like anything else whenever race and politics comes in to play. So it is my prayer and hope that she is confirmed, because if for no other reason than the look on her daughter's face, which that expression, as I said, was symbolic of every young lady around the country and in the world for that matter, who could look up to the judge and say, if it can happen for her, it can happen for me. It's happening for her right now in 2022, but 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the line, she will have opened the door for me. I can aspire now as an African American female child, as a female child of color. I can aspire now to one day sit on the Supreme Court. It's the same thing whenever our vice president was elected, as she was the first female, the first African American, the first female that served in the seat or sitting in the seat of vice president. It's the same type of phenomenon that now our girls and our boys, for that matter, we have a role model, somebody to look to. When Barack Obama was elected president of the United States, it was not a role model. It really did say anyone can become president of the United States if you have the qualifications, you put the time in, you put the work in, you've gone to school, you've studied, you've gotten your degrees, you've done everything that you needed to do. Why would not you be able to one day run and become president of the United States? Well, that's the same thing that was on that young lady's face. That was on her face as she sat there and watched her mother sit there. Now, mind you, it had to also be grueling to hear the nonsense that was constantly said as to why she should not be sitting on the highest court of the land. That had to be aggravating and frustrating as well, to sit there and listen to folks do the best that they could to try to keep this woman from getting on the Supreme Court for no other reason than the color of her skin or possibly her gender. So through it all, one of the other posts that I sent out yesterday as well, it was a guest post by Miles J, and it was titled Persevere. So apparently, because I have not been watching the hearings, apparently that was the word that Judge Brown Jackson was using as her inspiration, was to persevere. So that's on the Critical Thinker blog post, and my guest post or my guest blogger on that was Miles J. So if you want to read that, go to the Critical Thinker and you can read that post as well. But it just, as I looked at that photo, because I haven't been following the hearing, but when I saw that photo by Miss Maney, however she says it, I'm not sure how she says it, but when I saw that photo, it immediately leaped out at me, and that's why the photo is going viral, because it didn't just touch me. It has touched folks all around the country, especially if you are a person of color, if you're African American, to sit there and see the look of pride on that young lady's face, the look of accomplishment, the look of this can be done, the look of I can do this one day if I so choose, the look of I can do anything I want if I so choose, and not necessarily be held back by my skin color. Now, we all know there's always the forces that be, the powers in play that will try to restrict those because of skin color or gender or sexual orientation or for whatever reason. But I just thought that photo was such an outstanding photo that it will go down as a part of the history. As Judge Brown Jackson ultimately is confirmed, that photo will be in the history books of her child. Can you imagine, as a parent, having your child sit there and look lovingly and admiringly at you in that particular way? Because we all know, those of us who are parents, the relationship between, teenagers or young adults and parents can sometimes get dicey, can sometimes get, sticky, because we know, the kids have their own mind. But the look on that child's face, the reverence, the respect, the honor, I can't even come up with enough adjectives to describe the look on her face as her mom was sitting there being considered, or as they were debating on whether or not, trying to make a case for whether she should or should not be on the Supreme Court. The woman is more qualified than those that are sitting there, or at least as much, and I will say if not more qualified than those already sitting on the bench or sitting up there in the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court. So without a doubt, she has my support. Without question, the judge has my support, and I am hoping and praying that she is confirmed, just like those others who have been nominated have been confirmed. My thoughts and prayers are with Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Onyeka Brown Jackson. And I want to thank Sarabeth Maney, or Maney, because I have this thing about names. I hate mispronouncing them. But I thank Sarabeth Maney for capturing that moment and the fuss and the attention that the photo is getting. It is well deserved, because that facial expression is priceless. It is, as that Chinese proverb said, a picture is worth 10,000 words. Well, that's it. If you want to learn more about me, please visit my website, marcamedley.com. That's MarcAmedley.com. That is the portal and the hub for everything. It is the hub for the blog that I just talked about. It is the hub for the Mark Medley Show. It is the hub for my radio show, which is heard live each Saturday morning. It is broadcast around the world, streamed on gobrave.org, GOBRAVE.org. It is also heard in northern New Jersey on FM radio 88.7 FM. And we're heard on all the various platforms as well, such as Radio FX, the TuneIn Radio Network. If you look us up, either WPSC or Brave New Radio, you can get to the radio station, whether it be streamed or whether it's on FM radio itself. But if you go to my website, that will give you the keys to the door of everything: the blog, the podcast, the radio show, my musical works, my CDs. There are 2 musical works there as well. So it's all there. Just go there again, marcamedley.com, MarcAmedley. Thank you. We'll be together again the next time I record another episode of the Mark Medley Show.